All right, everybody, you got 72 hours to figure out what your next move is going to be. An EMP just happened. Power's going to be out for days. A tsunami's coming. There's been an earthquake. Something has happened, and you got to get out of your house, go someplace safe. You got 72 hours to make it there. What's going to be in your go bag? What's going to be in your bag? Well, let's find out together, all right? Hey, I had to get your attention somehow, right? So obviously, my name is Jason. This is Straight Edge Knives and Straight Edge Lights and Gear. Guys, this video is going to be cross-posted between my two different channels because this video is going to cover a topic that I don't know a lot about. And you guys are going to take this journey with me, okay? I am actually going to be attending not a 72-hour class, but I'm going to be attending a survival class hosted by Walter Matthews over in Florida in the Everglades, okay? This class is primarily designed to focus on like the first 72 hours of a situation, okay? And I've never done a class like this. I've always thought about maybe being a little bit prepared or being, not necessarily being a full-blown prepper, but, you know, at least having some sort of an emergency kit. And believe it or not, a few months ago, my daughter was like, hey, Dad, what do we do if something happens and we're separated? Where are we meeting at? And it just kind of started this ball rolling, which led to E.J. Snyder giving me his book on being prepared as a family. Walter calls me out of the blue and says, hey, come take this class. And I'm like, the signs and the planets are aligning, people. That's what I'm saying, right? So I'm like, heck yeah, Walter, I'm coming to the Everglades. You're going to teach me some stuff. He gave us a very short list of things to bring. And this whole video, we're going to start this from beginning to end, right? I'm going to go through what I'm taking right now. We're going to get to the class. We're going to film the class. We're going to film a lot of parts of the class. You're going to see me doing the tasks. And Walter's going to go through my bag and be like, hey, you didn't need this. You should have brought this or whatever. We're going to find out what we really need for a 72-hour bag and maybe what also the mental preparations that we need. I may have some stuff on this table I absolutely don't need, but some of the stuff I will kind of explain that. But this video might be a few parts, people, because I don't know how long, once we get to doing the class, I don't know how long my videos are going to be. But what I want to do right now is I'm going to go over the stuff that I'm taking, okay? I'm going to show you the bag that I'm going to be putting a lot of this stuff in, kind of explain some of the things that I'm doing here. Hopefully some of it's right, some of it's probably wrong. Some of you watching are probably like, this dude's an idiot, and that's fine. Leave it in the comments below and let me know what I did wrong so I can help fix it, right? I'm not above constructive criticism. But first off, let's start off with this. We're going to be staying in a campground, okay? So some of the stuff wouldn't be necessarily something that I would put in my 72-hour bag. But because I'm camping out, I need to have a tent, right? So a buddy of mine who does a lot of backpacking was nice enough to let me use this tent right here. This is the Morrison 2-person from Mountain Smith tent. This is going to go in a lot of this stuff's going in my check bag, right? It's just a nice little 2-person tent. I will show a video of me putting this thing up and everything, but this is just literally for camping. This isn't something that I would necessarily have in my 72-hour bag. Maybe I would keep something like this in my truck if I happen to have my truck with me while we're bugging out. But this is a tent, obviously. So we're going to set that to the side. Next up, I have, well, that's my sleeping bag. I have a sleeping pad. This is a sleeping pad. Again, my buddy let me use. It's super light. I'm not sure the brand. This says Thermarest. This is what I'm going to be sleeping on because we're going to be sleeping on the ground. So again, that's not something I would necessarily have in my 72-hour pack, but it's something I have to take, so I'm showing it. This is my sleeping bag that I picked up. I picked this up at Walmart. It's an Ozark Trail. I know it's budget, right? But that's fine. This is actually, the reason why I picked this bag up is it's 1.81 pounds, right? So I got to try to save some weight in my luggage. But this is a warm weather mummy sleeping bag. This is rated to like 50 degrees. Looking at the weather, the lowest it gets right now, where we're going to be at in Florida, it's like 58. So between my regular clothes that I'm taking and the mummy bag, I think I should be fine. But this is, again, a nice small package, something that would be maybe worth throwing in the back of your truck. We're going to let you know how well this sleeping bag works, though. So we're going to set that to the side. Now, we're going to get into the stuff that I probably would put in my 72-hour bag, at least as of right now, as far as I'm concerned, right? First off, I do need some way to make a shelter in case we do have to camp out. So I picked up this Free Soldier tarp. Guys, this is an all-weather waterproof tarp. I think it's, what is it, 10 by 8 or something like that, or 10 by 10. But this has like 16 different mounting points, so you can make all your cool tent, tarp shelters and things like that. Hopefully, I'm not sure we're going to be doing in the class, but I do want to try to set up some sort of a tarp shelter to show what that would look like. But this would be something that I would probably keep in my 72-hour bag, because you do need some sort of way to make a shelter in case you are on foot, and this might help keep you out of the elements. So good thing to possibly have. There's a lot of different makers. I am going to put links to all of this stuff in the description below. It's going to be a lot, guys, but you know, just something if you're interested in once you see it in action. Guys, a lot of this stuff I'm using for the first time. Okay, I've never set that tent up before. I've never built a tent shelter or a tarp shelter. A lot of this stuff I've never used. Okay, so this is going to be definitely a fun journey for all of us, because what ultimate way to test this stuff out than testing it for the first time during a class, right? So this is going to be kind of fun. I did pick up this little inflatable pillow. You just blow this thing up. I needed a pillow. Most of the time you could probably just roll up a sweater or sweater. Do you necessarily need to buy an inflatable pillow? No, but look how small this thing gets. Pretty tiny. So I figured, why not? Let's pick one up, try it out, see if it works or not. You know, I might wind up trashing it. Who knows? One of the important things I think you need to remember when you're out on a 72-hour, you might be hiking for days. Who knows, right? Hygiene is kind of still important, right? If you start getting funky in some places, you might start getting chafed. You might start developing infections and things like that. So what I did is I picked up a package of these dude wipes. These are basically big full body kind of wipes to help keep you kind of clean if you can't get to a shower or a bath, right? At least that way you can stay at least somewhat sanitary while you're out and about. And if you're trying to survive, do you really want to be stinking next to your partner? Probably not. So these were like $5.99 for this pack. There's like 48 in here. At a minimum, you need it to wipe your butt after you have to go crap in the woods, or at least wiping down the, you know, all the special areas, you know what I'm talking about. So I think that this is, even though it does have some weight to it. I mean, this is what, well, it doesn't even have the weight on here, but I think it might, if it's only for like a 72-hour bag, it might be worth having this in there, but, or maybe not. Let me know in the comments. Next up, what are we gonna have to do? Well, we're gonna have to eat, right? So what I did was, I was like, you know what? In a 72-hour situation, you're trying to get out, you're trying to get somewhere safe. Water might not be available, or the water might be scarce. We don't know. So I went out and picked up one of these Grail GeoPress bottles. If you guys don't know what this is, it's a two-piece system for purifying water. This doesn't filter, this purifies. So you should be able to take some pretty nasty water out of some areas and be able to drink it, right? So you take this part of the cup, you scoop up the water to the fill line, you take this part, here's the filter, you push it down like so, you crack the cap just a little bit, press down slowly, and what it does is it basically French presses the water through the filter up into the chamber here. Once it's there, bam, you're ready to go. Unscrew it, clean, purified water. This has, definitely go look this up, people. I think this is going to be a game changer, at least for me. If this works, which I hope it does, and I'm pretty sure it will after all the reviews I watch. There's a freshwater lake in the campground. All the water that I'm going to drink and cook with is going to be coming out of this GeoPress. So every time I'm thirsty and I need water, I'm going to go pull it from the lake. I'm going to GeoPress it. I'm going to drink it. And I'm going to use this Pathfinder nesting cup to basically boil my water in, right? So this cup's pretty cool. It has a little spout. It has graduation markers in here. This whole setup was, I think, like $112, but that rests right in there. So you have like a nice little carry system. But this you can put in your fire or whatever, put your water in there to boil it, which is what I'm going to use to then cook my food. I'm taking all my food with me on this trip, guys. And so what I did was I decided I'm going to try out this Peak freeze-dried food. This stuff looks pretty cool. I don't know how it tastes. I've never had it. So all of my meals might be horrible this weekend. I don't know. We're going to find out. I'll let you know. But basically you tear this off, you follow the instructions, you boil the water, then you pour it in here, seal it up, let it sit for 10-15 minutes, stir it up, and then eat it right out of the bag, which is pretty candy. Also saves some weight. What I did is, it's kind of a deep bag, so I did pick up this little titanium spoon off of Amazon. I think it was like $8. I didn't think that was too bad of a price for something. This thing is super light, so it will save you some weight in your pack. came with a little carrying bag, but I'm going to use that to eat with. Now, we're going to be out there Friday night, Saturday, and most of Sunday. So I bought enough of these meals to basically, I got a dinner for Friday, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Saturday, and a breakfast and lunch and a dessert. But they have some pretty cool things like 3-bean chili mac, beef stroganoff. This is a biscuits and sausage with gravy. So a lot of the reviews I've seen on that seem pretty good, but we're going to find out, right? Now you're thinking to yourself, well, what are you going to do? Stick that in the fire? Well, absolutely. You can build a fire and stick that in there, boil your water. That'd be absolutely fine. But what I'm going to try out is this little camping backpacking stove that I found on Amazon as well. This thing was like 21 bucks. It's not too bad. What I liked about it is it does come with this uses those little camping fuel tanks. But it does come with adapters, so you can use one of the green propane tanks if you need to, or if you use those butane tanks, has an adapter for that. But basically, this little guy comes out of this case. It has a fairly nice little case. It's not too big, it doesn't weigh too much. But this is kind of cool because you are going to be able to do quite a bit with this as long as it works, which we're going to find out. But basically, kind of unroll this hose. This is what I kind of liked about this system is it doesn't sit straight up on top of the tank. It's a little bit more stable, and to me it seems a little more stable. It unfolds into a package like this, set it on the ground. Your tank is off to the side over here, so it's safely away. And then basically you just put your cup on top of here. Don't let it fall off. Boil your water, and then you're good to go. But this is also big enough that you can put larger pots or pans on there if you're going to cook other meals, right? So this is going to be great for boiling my water to make my peak fuel. Also to make my instant coffee. I did buy these Death Wish Coffee Company dark roast instant packs. I got to have some coffee, right? You know, I don't know how tired I'm going to be doing this class. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get some instant coffees and we'll see how those taste. And I'll let you know how they work out. I've never really been a big instant coffee drinker, so we'll see how it goes. But hey, when you're out camping in the woods or in a survival situation, you're going to use what you got to use, right? So there we go. That's how we're going to be eating out there. We're going to be boiling water on this little camp stove. Hopefully, if not, I'm going to stick that cup in the fire, right? We're going to be having our coffee, our food, all that good stuff, right? We got our water to be able to filter. First time going to be using a GeoPress. Never used it before. We're going to see how it works. If I wind up with the shits, everybody, then, well, I don't know what to tell you. Grail, we need to work on that, but I think it's going to work, okay? And I do want to point out that a lot of this stuff has been bought by me. I'm not necessarily, like, Grail didn't send me that, Peak didn't send me the food or the cup, or I didn't get, a lot of this, the stuff that I'm buying, I'm going to tell you that I bought, okay? For illumination purposes, this is something I did not buy. Coast Lights was nice enough to send this to me to check out. I did a full review on this. This is the RL35R rechargeable headlamp. This thing is super cool. I think I reached out to them because I thought to myself, you know what, for this survival class, you know, a lot of people suggest in a go bag or whatever that you should have a headlamp for hands-free illumination, right? And I was like, you know, that's a good idea. And then when I came across this light, I was like, okay, I think this is the light that I want for this. And then let me see if I turned it on. Coast on. Oh, no, it didn't turn on yet. Coast on. Oh, there it goes. Coast off. Guys, this is a completely voice activated headlamp. So once I put this on my head and I have it, you know, the voice activation mode turned on, I can sit here, coast on. Coast off. I can run through multiple different cycles that this light has. Definitely go to my Straight Edge Lights and Gear channel. Check out my review on this. Coast was nice enough to send this to me to try out and use for this class. So thank you, Coast. I do appreciate that. But I did do a full review on that light already, and I'm liking it, right? For another little smaller illumination task, this might be something I hang in my tent as well. I do have this Coast KL30R, this little tiny guy. I do have a full review on this as well. It has like a floodlight mode here, a couple of brightness settings, a UV. I don't know, maybe there's scorpions in the Everglades, I don't know. And then I also have like my standard light. So if I got to get up and go pee in the middle of the night, I have a little light that I can do that with, or I can hang this in my tent to give me some illumination if I don't want. Oh, I forgot to turn this one off. Coast off. There we go. So I do have this little tiny light, and I also will probably be rocking, actually I am going to be rocking this Nightcore EDC 23 flashlight as well. Okay, this wasn't sent to me by Nightcore. This is something I purchased myself. This is a really cool light. I will be doing a full review on this. Part of my review actually will be during this class. I am going to use this for the class, so that'll be interesting. For my tent, my tent and my tarp and stuff like that, I do have a couple of cool little options that I got. I got these roller ropes for tie downs, right? So it has this cool little cam system that you feed through, help tension down your tarps and things like that. I happen to have 4 of them. These were given to me while I was at SHOT Show from Roller Rope. This is the rope roller, but it was Roller Cam is the company that makes it. So I thought, hey, these could be really useful in helping, you know, tie down stuff, make things tight, or maybe I got to strap something to a bag. I will be taking these out of the package and taking these along, so it'll be my first time using these as well. And they did give me a 3-inch strap as well, roller cam strap. If I find a need for this, we're going to try it and we're going to see if we can't make it work, right? So I also have a bunch of paracord here. Obviously paracord is going to be essential for tying stuff down. I might have to make some ridge lines to make a shelter or something like that. Again, I'm not exactly 100% sure what we're going to be doing in the class, so I'm kind of trying to go a little bit prepared, but I probably have about 75 feet worth of paracord in here. I would say in your go bag, maybe have 100 feet. Just buy a brand new 100-foot package, maybe even 200 feet. It comes in handy for lots of different things. And I have been going online and trying to watch videos on how to tie different knots and things like that, which is probably important too. I did grab this package of carabiners just in case I got I don't know, carabiners come in handy for a lot of different things. There's 6 of them in here. I picked this up at like Big 5, pretty cheap, just to have, just in case, you never know. Now, let's get on to what am I going to use for cutting up wood and making my, I don't know what we're doing. We may be making deadfall traps. We might be making, I know we're going to be making fire and things like that. So what am I going to use for cutting up my wood and doing stuff like that? Guys, Prandi Axes out of Italy was nice enough to supply me with this German style hatchet. It does have a straight handle, so it actually does lend itself to throwing if you're into throwing axes. But I found that the straight handle is really nice too, just for chopping. This is a pretty cool little lightweight, I wouldn't say lightweight, but it's definitely not a super heavy axe. And you're going to be able to get in there, it weighs 600-gram head. You're going to be able to get in there and do some of those little heavier chopping tasks like that. You know, all the time when I'm doing my knife reviews, there's always people, you're shredding baton with a knife, use a hatchet, use an axe, or whatever. Okay, guys, I got a hatchet. We're going to do it, all right? But big thanks to Prandi for letting me have this so I can utilize this for the class as well. So we're going to check this thing out, really see how well it does. Another cool, I feel like with my blade system here, I really went back and forth for a while, guys, on how am I going to do this? Am I going to take 1 blade? Am I going to take 2 blades? I think a 3-blade system is optimal. But you may not be able to do that. You might have to have a 2-blade system. And then there's always the, well, if I could only have 1 blade, what would it be? That's always the big debate, right? But for this class, I wanted to try a 3-blade system out. One, I wanted to have the hatchet because it's small and packable. Again, I have to fly out to Florida from where I'm at. So I can't take a big, you know, it's going to be difficult to take a big giant machete, things like that. So I figured, okay, the hatchet's going to be good. It's going to do a little bit more of the heavier task. Chopping wood, if we have to chop a tree down or something like that, this will come in handy. I do think you should have a small blade option, right? So that way if you got to do some finer tasks, make those little trap sticks and stuff like that. Sometimes you can do it with a big blade, but sometimes it's just easier to have a little blade, or you might need it to cut up your food, or you know, sometimes a big blade, if you're trying to skin out an animal or something, you could do it, but it's not always the easiest thing, right? So for my little blade, Jacob Peterson over at Exodus Knife and Tool was nice enough to send me this adventure craft, this little 3-inch adventure craft, guys. So this thing is small, light, very, very sharp. It's D2 steel. It's going to be a tough little blade. I'd be able to get in there, do all those little finer tasks, make my little fire curls and things like that. Has a nice little Kydex sheath. And what I did was I actually attached this leather pouch from Big B Leatherworks to the front of the sheath. So you could pop this open. I could put a Bic lighter in here. Or if I'm out scourging around, I find some good tinder for starting a fire, I could put it in the pouch and things like that. And then what I opted to do instead of carrying it on my belt is I'm actually going to carry this as a neck knife So I always have it kind of readily available for those quick little tasks. And for my big knife, or I was trying to decide, like, okay, well, how big of a knife do I go? Do I go 4-inch? Do I go 6-inch, 7, 8? Right? I was kind of in between, and I did Tops Knives was nice enough to, you know, for testing and review purposes from a knife channel, they sent me this Tahoma field knife. And guys, this thing is pretty slick. I really dig this knife. I think this, again, this is brand new to me. I haven't used it, so my first time using this blade and testing it out is going to be during a survival class. So all the tasks that Walter has us doing out there, you know, I'm going to be doing it with this, the hatchet, or this, right? But this is a very cool blade. It does have an edge up here on the top, so if you have to have a second, like let's say this edge gets dulled and you still got to do some fine work, you can use the backside. We're going to see how this might not, well, actually this, I could tell you this isn't going to be the best for batoning. Okay, so if you do have to baton with your knife, you are going to have to definitely kind of choke back here to try to hit here. If you do have to hit up here on the edge, it's just going to tear up your baton stick, but it is what it is, right? They do offer this in an unsharpened top edge, so that might be something to think about if you do baton with your knife a lot. If this knife is something you're interested in, I would definitely look at getting it with the unsharpened top. But it has a nice little pot holder, so if I have to kind of come in here and grab my little, you know, if I can't find a stick or I'm in a hurry or something like that, let's say this is in the fire, I can kind of come in here, hook the knife under here, kind of pick up the cup. I might spill some water, but I'm able to pick up the cup, right? So, or let's say you have a pot, something like that. So this has also got enough size and weight that I'll be able to do some chopping with it. I can choke back. It's got a nice little screwdriver pommel if I have to crack open, I don't know, an Everglades coconut or maybe a gator skull. We'll see. But this is going to be my big blade of choice that I'm taking to the class. It does have bow drills on there. If we do happen to do bow drill fires, I'm not sure. Guys, we got a little bit more here to go. Let me take this off so it's not making so much noise on the table. I am taking a full-blown med kit, and this is the Maxpedition Beefy Pack, and this is what I made my med kit out of. Up here in this front pouch, I have some latex gloves. Obviously, if somebody gets cut, somebody gets hurt, you know, you're going to want to protect yourself, PPE, you know, equipment. So I have latex gloves here in the front pouch. Somebody can grab those. Open this up. We're going to dive into this real quick. I have a bunch of Band-Aids. This pack holds a lot of stuff, right? So I have a bunch of Band-Aids and triple antibiotic and alcohol pads in the zippered pouch here in the back. I have a combat, what do they call this? A combat, big combat dressing right here. I have another combat dressing that has Quick Clot in it. I have a CPR mask. I have a cat tourniquet right here. I have some steri strips back here, like if the cut's not too bad. And I also have some chest seals. God forbid something happens with that. You know, you need a chest seal. But it's still a med kit that I'm in the process of working on. But I think for the purpose of this class, it has quite a bit of the essentials. We are going to be in a campground, so if a major medical emergency arises, we will be able to get help quickly. But it's something to think about, building out your own med kit and having the right pouch to be able to fit everything you need, right? So this is the Maxpedition Beefy Pack. Big shout out to Maxpedition for supplying me with these packs to try out and film. I am reviewing these bags in this class as well. So that Beefy Pack right there. This is my Maxpedition mini pocket organizer. I did do a full review on this already, and I was super impressed with the amount of stuff I was able to put in here. But what I'm actually going to utilize this mini pocket organizer for this class is this is going to be my fire starting kit. So I'm going to zip this open. I do have some paracord here in the front little mesh pouch, but we're going to open this up. I have, I think, 3 different fire starters in here. Yeah, I have this kind of Bear Grylls fire starter right here. I do have a small multi-tool here that has a little saw blade, like a straight razor blade, things like that. I have another fire starter back here in the back. I have an Uberleben fire starter with a striker on this right here, wrapped with some paracord to help protect it. And then I have some Ziploc bags with some Blackbeard fire starter and then a bunch of sissy rope that's already shredded up. So I have dry tinder if I need it. If I can't, you know, it's the Everglades. It's going to be wet out there. We don't know. We might not be able to find dry stuff. Or in a 72-hour situation, you might not be able to find it. So it's good to have some dry material, and it's good to have multiple options to start your fire. Now, granted, all 3 of these are, you know, ferrocenium rods. Realistically, I would have a Bic lighter in here as well, possibly two, and some matches. But because this is going into the check bag under the plane, I know I can't carry that onto the plane. That's why I just have these in here. If I have to, I might just stop at a gas station real quick and buy some, or I'm sure if you're out in a 72-hour situation, you can find those. But I would normally keep matches and that stuff in here, but due to regulations, I can't do that. I also have a small mini O light in here, just to, if it's dark, I can just turn this cap. I got a little light. I can see kind of what I'm doing. It's clipped into the bag so I don't lose it. And so that's going to be my fire starting kit bag, right? So that's something that's going to get into the bag as well. And then last but not least, this will be carried on me. It's going to go in my check bag until I get there. And then once we get there, this is going to go into my pocket. But this is the micro pocket organizer. And this thing is pretty cool because it allows you to carry some useful EDC tools in your pocket, kind of organized. Obviously, that's what an organizer is. So I have a Milwaukee Tools fastback. It's got the little straight razor. But what I like about it is it has a locking screwdriver bit in here. This locks, it's locked into place. You never know when you might need a screwdriver, things like that. And I like the fact that it locks, because some of the other ones don't lock, and depending on the angle that you're having to work at, it can get a little weird. I do have a little clip neck pliers in here. These things are pretty cool. I do have some screwdriver bits in here, some flatheads and some Phillips. I do have another fire starting tool in here that I got from Work Tough Gear, so that's just tucked away in there. And then I have a Phoenix Lights kind of tactical pin in there, so a nice metal pin just in case I need to have a pin for something. So that's just a little something that I'll carry around in my pocket once we're there. That's going to be in my pocket all the time. Another thing we're going to need, you should also pack into your bag, is gloves, right? Any pair of leather palm work gloves. So these are, I don't know, I picked these up at Costco in a 3-pack. They're nylon on top, leather palm. They work really good. They're comfortable and they're not super expensive. Whatever gloves you choose to put in there, put in there. And I'm also going to be taking along 2 of these, I can never say this right, Shimagaz. Anyway, you guys know what they're called. Anyway, they're just kind of giant, nice things. These are really cool because once you open this up, it's a nice big square. You can utilize these for multiple things. You can use it for head cover. You can make it a scarf around your neck, help keep your head warm, or dip it in water, help keep you cool. In a pinch, you can use it for a towel. You could roll it up, you know, use it for a pillow, you know. So they come in pretty handy. There's just tons of uses for these. You can make it into a makeshift hobo bag if you need to. Let's say your backpack breaks, you got to stick some of your junk in here and carry it like a hobo. You can do that as well. So these are really cool. So I'm going to be taking a couple of these along. At a minimum, I would say have one in your go bag, you know, for every go bag that you build. Just kind of a handy thing to do. Now, the other thing that I am going to be taking along with me, this isn't something that you necessarily maybe have in your go bag, obviously, but I got my camera equipment, guys. I got to take. I got the camera that I'm filming on, the tripod stick that I'm using. I got to take that with me. I can't pack this stuff in my check bag. It's got to go with me on the plane because of the batteries. And so what I'm going to be using is the jumbo VersaPack from Maxpedition. And what's nice is I'm able to put my GeoPress bottle right here in this little side pocket. This is going to be, you know, that way I don't lose that. That's there. But this bag holds quite a bit of stuff. So I have 2 drones in here as well. So I have my DJI Neo and my batteries, right, that go in this little front pouch right here. So, you know, when you're filming a lot of stuff, you got to have, you know, batteries. Up here in the top, what do I have up here in the top? I don't know if I put anything. I haven't put anything up in this top pouch yet, but trust me, I'm sure I'm going to find something to put up there. Right here in the front, I do have this like little mini cheat sheet guide in case sometimes I forget some of the settings on my DJI Mini 4 Pro drone. This is like a little cheat sheet book I got from, where did I get this from? I got this from some guy in Europe. I can't remember his name. And I apologize, buddy, if you see this. But that's just there just in case I need it. We get down into the package. I got my DJI Neo. This is a cool little selfie drone for filming. I have my battery charger, 1 extra battery, and then my other batteries on my drone. But that's going to have to go in here actually for the flight. But I have 2 batteries and a charging bank for my DJI Mini 4 Pro. I have my DJI Mini 4 Pro. And I just dropped my bag. So I got that in there as well. And then when I dip into the back pocket back here, I have an Anchor fast charging battery bank. with a USB-C. So I just pop this little thing out here, plug this thing in. I can fast charge my phone, my drone batteries, whatever I need to fast charge to keep me going while I'm out in the woods. I do have another Anchor battery pack. This will actually clip onto the back of my phone and just give me a slow trickle charge or give me some extra juice. I can also plug a USB-C into here, plug it into my camera, drone, whatever. So I do have some extra battery there. And then I have my microphones for my camera setup. So that all goes in the back. I will also probably have a package of Lifesaver gummies in here, and I'll have some trail mix in here. But this is what's going to be going with me on the plane because of the batteries and things like that. This is what has to go on the plane with me. So I can fit quite a bit of stuff in this jumbo Versa pack for filming. This is going to be cool. I'm going to try to get hopefully some cool aerial shots while we're out there. And now you're thinking, okay, well, where's all this crap going to go, Jason? Well, this is the best bag option I have available to me right now. This is a I think it's Field Line Tactical bag. I picked this up at, I think, Walmart years ago. It's got a big, nice front pouch here with a bunch of little extra pouches in here that I can stuff a lot of this stuff into. I have this big kind of area here. I can stick, maybe a sleeping bag or my camping tent, whatever. I could stick stuff in here as well. You do have this really large main compartment, which is going to work nice. Because you got to think, guys, I also got to put my clothes in here for the week too. So for the weekend. So I'm going to have this nice big bag in here. I can stick I can stick clothes, lots of little pouches, stick my toiletries in a lot of these little extra pouches. And then on the sides, you have two big pockets on each side as well that can hold, quite a bit of stuff as well. So what you're going to see up next is the packing montage. Okay, I'm going to speed it up. It's not going to be like super long, but you're going to see me trying to figure out how to put all this stuff in here, which this is then going to go into a check bag. Okay, one thing I do like about this backpack is it does have these hip straps, so if we are hiking or anything like that, I'm able to put these on, help take some of the load off my shoulders. So that's something else to consider. And you do have a pouch here in the back that you can put a water bladder in, but or you can utilize it for extra storage, I guess, for like flatter stuff. I might be able to fit like my food in there, but we'll see how that goes when I start packing all this up. All right, guys, I know this has been quite a lot of stuff to go through. I definitely wanted to let you guys see what I'm taking on this class, my first survival class, right? I'm flying out to Florida for this. It's kind of a lot to pack in, but it's going to be fun, guys. It's going to be a learning experience, and hopefully you take this whole journey with me. Guys, stay tuned. We're just going to straight roll into all the rest of the stuff. Again, this might be a 1, 2, 3 part video series. It might just be one long video. We'll see how it plays out when I start editing. But hopefully you stay tuned for it all. Thank you, guys. And here we go with a packing montage. Woo! All right, I got most of that stuff in here. This I don't need. This is left in there from a previous trip. The only thing I need to pack now is my clothes and my toiletries. Again, the sleeping pad and the tent are just gonna go in my luggage, right? This is gonna get packed in there. Hopefully that fits. That's pretty thick. My flashlights and everything got to go in my Versa pack because that has to go onto the plane because of the batteries. So pretty much what I'm going to do with my clothes is I'm going to Ranger roll my shirts, my pants, and my chonies and my socks. And I'm going to pack my clothes in the Ranger roll method to maximize the amount of space in here, to put everything in here. Theoretically, if I wanted to, I could fit this Versa pack or the sleeping pad into this bag. There's enough room there to do it, but I do need room for my clothes. So I figure, like I said, in a bad situation, you're probably not grabbing these two things to take with you anyway. So it'd be better off, I think you'd be better served to have some clean underwear and socks, at least a pair or two in your go bag. Again, if you're not comfortable, you're going to be miserable. If you got to be miserable, at least be comfortable. I don't know if that made any damn sense at all. But I would definitely say try to have a pair of pants and a shirt, and maybe a pair of underwear and socks in your go bag as well. Possibility, you don't have to. If you have the room and you can handle the weight, I would say definitely maybe try it, or maybe put your go back on, do a hike. Anyway, we're rambling, man. This video is going to be long, everybody. We're going to do this sucker in parts. I'm almost guarantee it. Anyway, I'm going to range roll up my clothes. I'm going to have to watch some videos on how to do that. And we're going to get these clothes packed in here and get these toiletries packed in here and be ready to go. All right, guys, stay tuned. All right, everybody. I got this bag loaded up with just about everything, okay, with the exception of the sleeping pad and the tent, which obviously, like I said, we're camping. I have all of that food, the stove, knife sharpener, the knives, the axe. I got 6 pairs of underwear in here, 6 pairs of socks. I don't even need that many, but you know, I'd always rather have extra underwear and socks. I got I got 3 pairs of pants, a pair of swimming shorts, 3 long sleeve shirts and 2 regular t-shirts packed in here, along with all of that food, my med bag. All of that stuff is packed into this sucker. And I'm going to tell you right now, this would not be a cool 72-hour bag. With all the clothes in here, I weighed this thing. I have one of these luggage scales. This thing's weighing in at 36.2 pounds right now, and it's jam-packed. Like, the zippers are all holding on for dear life. Just to throw this big old son of a bitch on. Oh, good Lord. Look at it. I mean, this thing is definitely weighty. Like, it's definitely back heavy for sure. Obviously, if you were going on a 72-hour bug out, I don't know, you wouldn't really be packing that many clothes. Okay, I would suggest a pair of pants and a shirt maybe, or at a minimum the socks and underwear, right? But yeah, this has pretty much all of that stuff packed in here. All the hatchet, the knife, the other knife, the med kit, all that stuff is all in here right now. 36.2 pounds, I think it was. Oh, good Lord. And that's not really necessarily everything. I still have my Versa pack over there that has all my drones, my camera equipment, and everything's going to go into, and that's going on the carry-on on the plane. But again, realistically, you wouldn't have all the clothes in here. I could probably definitely cut this down. I have all of that food in here. Did I need that many packages? Maybe you'd only need 3 or 4 packages of that food, not necessarily, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for every day. You might just eat one of those a day, make it stretch out. So, was I able to pack it all into this monstrous bag? Yeah, I was. And luckily, I think I'm still going to come in under the 50 pounds weight limit on my check-in bag. But guys, next time you see me, we're going to be on the road headed to the airport. And we're going to keep this rocking and rolling. And as long as this video has been so far, guys, we're definitely going to probably break this up into, you know, part 1, part 2, part 3. I'm going to try to keep each one of the videos to maybe an hour. So make sure you check in for all of the parts. All right, guys, we'll see you on the road to Florida. Woo! All right, everybody, we made it to the campground. It's dark as hell out here in the Everglades. This is going to be our camp spot where we're going to be learning our survival stuff. Me, Walter, and Scott from Choir Boys are getting ready to set up camp, get everything ready for tomorrow. Just wanted to give you guys a little look out here. Coast Spot. Utilizing my voice activated headlamp. Pretty cool. This is the RL35R from Coast Lights. Able to get out here and really see what we're working with. We got a nice big open spot. Like I said, the fellas are over there. All right, guys, we're going to get this camp set up and then we'll show it to you after we get it done. See you in a minute.